Hello again, welcome to the show. Today I'm going to talk about Inferno, the second in the Three Mills trilogy. A trilogy I'm only going to talk about two parts of, because the third one's not very good. But the thing is, the first two films are so strong that it doesn't really matter the third one doesn't work, because they're so great. Which I think what people should do with films with a weak third part. Just enjoy the first two and just ignore the other one. Just doesn't matter that the other one isn't good. The first two are great, so why bother? So Inferno is the sequel. It's one of those films that's weird because everyone seems to love Suspiria. They're horror fans who are fans of cinema. Everyone raves about Suspiria, how great it is. For some people, Inferno is a bit of a disappointment, and for others like me, it's even better than Suspiria. But it's a different film. The big difference to start with, it's shot slightly differently. They're still using primary colours, but it's more subtle. And it's not, I think they used a certain, they used old stock for Suspiria that was from a much older period. And that was the last of that stock, so it created a different look for the film. This film had to use normal film stock. It's also in the 185 to 1 rather than 235 to 1, which creates a different mood for the film. It has to set up its scares in a different way because 235 has widescreen and you can set things up in different parts of the frame in a way that's kind of almost show-offy. That you can tease a lot more of 235 to 1. And 185 is a more formal frame. It's harder to do like show-offy things that will get you through a sequence that maybe having the problems. I think a lot of bad directors like 235 to 1 because it covers a lot of their sins. But also if you get a really good director for 235 to 1, they can really push it to create an experience that keeps going and going and going. But 185 to 1 I think is a harder format to work with for directors. And I actually prefer 235 to 1 as a person who loves adrenaline movies. But Inferno really uses this format to change the world it's working with. The basic thing is the story itself is in two parts. It's almost like a part 1 and part 2 of a sequel, because you deal with one set of characters in the first half of the movie. Spoilers, they die, then you have another character in the second half of the movie. And it's very disjointed. It's like, yeah, I think one of the big things was people like the lead character in the first half more than the guy in the second half. The guy in the second half is a bit of a plank. And as a character, when I first saw it, I thought that's about a letdown. This guy's he's just not very good. But after that, I didn't care because I love the atmosphere so much that it's a flaw in a great film, but it's not a deal breaker for me. So, but yeah, that is the biggest flaw, is the lead character's a plank. On the second half, the first half, the lead character, who's a sister, she's so good. And she has so little to say, but it's an actress who understands how to act without words a lot of the time. And she's got a gentle director, do this, do that. So it's a really good collaboration there. In the second half, it's almost like Argento got an actor he couldn't really work with very well. So that becomes a problem in the film, but I don't care about that, to be honest. So yeah, so it's a very different structure. So it did the psycho thing of killing off the lead character halfway through, which Suspiria didn't do. But it creates a thing, a situation where creates a world that's much more dangerous. Because in the first film, in Suspiria, it almost feels like Jessica Harper is almost protected by the film. Everyone else around her is going to die. She's going to get paranoid, but she's going to be plucky and make it through to the end. And that's what's so enjoyable about the film. But after you've seen it, after you see it without the experience and all the emotion behind it, you realise it's a very predictable plot. This one's a bit jaggier. Like, no one's safe. The lead character dies brutally. Other characters, you start to like die brutally. The one character you think is a bit of an orb survives. It's as unfair as real life. But that's what makes it great, because it feels crueler and nastier in a way that's interesting, because it creates this idea of the supernatural doesn't care, the supernatural is going to get everybody. And again, the disappointment in this one is the ending, where I think it would have been scarier if the lead guy had failed and died. I think that would have been a much scarier end, because he didn't seem to do anything to deserve to survive, really. But even then, at the end, it suggested the supernatural were going to get him afterwards. They didn't get him in this film, but they're probably going to get him. But it would be nice to have seen them get him during the film. But the whole film is, the first film, Suspiria, was one of the first three sisters. It's where someone dealing with the first of the three sisters. This is the second one. And the third one is A Mother of Tears. So this is the second one, who lives in New York. And she's lives in this tenement building this mad architect. And the lead character, she now lives in it, and she starts to get suspicious of something up with this building. Because a lot of the characters in it are a bit odd. There's a guy who lives next door who looks like Bela Lugosi, and he's cruel to animals, and you know, strangles cats and puts them in bags and drowns the cats in bags. And there's a whole sequence early on about him doing this, and then he tries to drown them, and rats attack, and he starts eating by rats. This guy comes and kills him. That's really early on, and it's a brilliant sequence, and it's like, what's it got to do with the rest of the film? Doesn't matter. It's just a sequence to show you that this world is crazy and creepy and weird. So the first time you watch the film, you're thinking, the plot's all over the place here. But that's just great, but the second we see it beyond the first time, the plot's all over the place. It's all about the emotion of this supernatural that's going to get everywhere. And even if you get a clue in Rome all about what's happening in New York, they'll get you. And that's what's really creepy. The girl, the basic plot is the girl starts to suspect things. She starts to investigate the house, the history of the house. She writes a letter to her brother and sends it to her brother. And during the time before the brother gets the letter, she's killed. There's a great sequence where she's trying to investigate the house. She ends up underwater. And this sequence directed by Mario Bava is a second unit sequence. It's just this scene of her underwater. It's just creepy. There's lots of weird lighting involved. It's beautiful. It's just a beautiful sequence. And it's very... there's no real point for why it's scary, because nothing's actually happening that should make it scary. It's just the music and the sound and, you know, the imagery, all the effects. But it's a wonderful sequence. Again, it's not about pure stylization. It's just stylization. But that's what's so great about the film, is all these bits of stylization that build to this world. And that's what puts people off, because there's no strong story. It's just the world. They don't even try to suggest they're going to have a strong story. They don't. They don't care. But it's wonderful the way they do it. And the way Argento paces it, he paces it much more deliberately this time. It's not... The Suspiria is paced very fast. The camera's always moving with people. The background's always oppressive. This one, you're going to find your camera's moving slower. The story is almost non-existent at the time until someone gets killed, and then it moves on subtly. But you have to really invest in yourself to get the film. And it's very hard the first time you see it, but once you get beyond that first viewing, I think there's a lot there. It is almost the art house Suspiria movie. So the second half, once the letter goes to Rome, that's where some of my favourite things happen. There's a sequence where the brother and a girl who's friends with are in their music class and listen to music, and the camera starts floating through this class with the music, and it creates this amazing atmosphere. It's a beautiful music, and also just the way the camera's moving, you know something's up, and there's a witch watching. There's a beautiful woman watching them that you know is a witch, but she's not doing anything, but just the atmosphere of her being there's a problem. Then afterwards Mark leaves a letter that his friend sees, so she tries to investigate a little bit, gets scared off by this guy in this weird bookshop with these weird hands. Again, the setup of the world is so good that even the narrative's going a bit weird, every sequence adds to the world. It's just not telling you what it ever means in a way that's narratively directed. It's just everything does add up. It's just, you have to invest a lot in it. So this whole sequence there, doing this, she's trying to find out something and she probes too much. And then she goes back to her apartment, and then that's the supernatural side they're going to get her. And in this sequence where she gets freaked out, she brings a neighbour into her apartment to sit with her a bit. The power starts going on and off, and it starts playing the music from the earlier sequence in the classroom. And as this happening, the sound's going on and off, and the neighbour gets it, and then she's going to get it. And it's like a beautiful sequence. It's just wonderful. It's just pure stylization. Again, it creates this mood of, this thing is unstoppable. This thing is really unstoppable. That you're never going to escape from it. And that's why I think I got annoyed at the ending where the humans win. Because Argento sets up that the humans don't have a chance in hell of winning. And then they win and you feel it's a bit of a cheat. Like they shouldn't win. You know. That's a very uncommercial idea, but I think it'd be more satisfying as a viewer, especially in this one. I think it's a spirit, I needed her to win even though it's a bit unsatisfying. In this one, it's much better the Lost. Because everybody dies in this film. Everybody, we see a character going to die. And so the film keeps going with Mark going to New York to investigate the death of his sister, and he befriends people who turn out to be a bit mad. People die, and he ends up destroying one of the second house. Second house burns down, and again, it's a great sequence leading up to it. The music's going do 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 do, everything. It's brilliant, and then the end comes, and it's like unsatisfying. But it's so well done. Everything leading up to that's so well done. The framing of characters within the building is so well done. Like, you just know something's really off, but it's often a different way from Suspiria. It's often a way that's more languid. It's like, you just don't have a chance. You just don't. Just give up. Just accept your fate now and die. And so it's almost like the supernatural have less energy dealing with these people because they're not as interesting to them as the ones in Suspiria. But this makes it creepy as well. It's, the camera's moving slower, which just makes the villains much more interesting and creepy, and just like this force that's never going to be stopped. And Inferno is just a beautiful film. I mean, it's Argento just covers it with colour, but it's just a different type of colour. It almost feels more of an infection. Like Suspiria is vibrant, this one feels like an infection in the world that's going to infect anything that comes near. And it's almost like a disease you can't quite spot that's already in your skin, and you're going to only spot it when you're ready to die. It's that kind of atmosphere for this film, which I think makes it, because the whole gothic feel of it, like in gothic tales it almost feels like the characters are dead before they even realise it, and you just watch them figure it out. And this film feels the same way. So it's less of an adventure story, it's more of a gothic horror where the whole movie's on the side of the villains. So that's what makes it wonderful. It's a wonderful film. Just go see, I guess, just go see and experience it. But have patience with this one. This one needs patience because it's a different type of horror. It's a very patient type of horror. It's a bit more old fashioned. You need to really sit with it a bit more. But yeah, this and Tenebrae and maybe Opera, my three favourite Argento films. But most of them are great. All the 70s stuff's great. This is the early 80s. This is where he starts to go down a bit more because Phenomena is a bit of a mess. But then it comes back up with Opera. And then Two Evil Eyes, his sequence is really good too. And then he just falls off after that. But this is still, we're still in peak Argento phase here. and he's still going to sputter along for a bit before it goes downhill, but this is great stuff. This is a film I saw this film, I think, around at the same time as Suspiria. I'm not sure if I saw this one first or second. They were so close together. But this feels like I've seen this one before Suspiria. I'm pretty sure I saw this one first. It's just this, so I've seen it a lot. I like it's one of those films that I put on that every so often to regain your sense of faith in cinema. This is one of my films for that. Even though it's a very weird film, it's because it's so out there. That's why it's so effective for me. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll speak to you soon.